tell you, I think you're exactly right, because I've watched dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of FDA hearings, and I see nothing but cold and calculation coming from all of the FDA officials. They could give a damn about the stories of real people who died on these meds.
Well, that's because the overarching geopolitical system is run by eugenicists. So the more of us they kill, the better. In the state hearings, they said that. They said, these people are subhuman. They have bad gene pools. We're getting rid of them.
The New World Order beast is genetically modifying your food, mixing vegetables with animals, and now experimenting with viruses. Without a long-term food solution, you will have just two options: starve, or surrender. All canned food supplies will eventually run out. What then? Grow your own healthy food and feed your family forever. SurvivalistSeeds.com is now the nation's largest bulk heirloom seed company. And it's owned by a real patriot, Big John Lipscomb. You can now have an infinite amount of healthy vegetables like a watermelon, a bundle of carrots, or tomatoes for a little more than a penny each. SurvivalistSeeds.com. And now you can go into business with Big John at SurvivalistSeeds.com by becoming an affiliate. See his link at SurvivalistSeeds.com.
When good people stop caring and stop being involved in society, bad things happen. And they've got around 20% of our kids on drugs today. They want to put 50% on. Generation RX, a film by Kevin P. Miller. I'm going to have him back up the next month or two, maybe even play some clips here at PrisonPlanet.tv. But this is just very well done. It'll warn people when the school's pushing the drugs on their kids that it is proven to cause suicide. They even have to put that on the drugs now, thanks to people like Mr. Miller's actions. Get the film at Infowars.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. That's 888-253-3139. You can also write to me, Alex Jones, at 3001 South Lamar, Suite 100, Austin, Texas, 78704 to get Generation RX, a film by Kevin P. Miller. Kevin, we got about 4 minutes left here at the end. Tell folks more about the film, because, it's so multifaceted. It gets into so many areas. It shows the motivation, the lies, what the drugs do, the horror stories. It's just amazing. Tell folks more about Generation RX and how they can use it to stop this mass murder.
Well, I appreciate the latter part of what you just said, because, what I've said often in my speeches around the country is that, I made the film so that parents in particular and teachers and even sheriffs could be armed with the information they need. And especially parents, because you know how intimidated most parents are with, either by a school administrator or certainly a doctor. We're intimidated by the lab coat and their air of authority. And yet, it's incredible, because since the film has been out, I was speaking in Nebraska a couple of weeks ago, and a woman came up to me and she said, I actually did what you suggested. I used the information as a weapon. And I said, really, with whom? She said, with my child's pediatrician. And evidently the pediatrician was just sort of dumbstruck, had no response for the vast majority of the statistics or things that she cited from the film. So, I took great care to make sure that there was integrity in the information, Alex. And you know how important that is, because if there isn't integrity in the information, it makes it too easy for everybody else to shoot down. So I would encourage people to, buy it through you and to use the information in the film, first of all, as a weapon to defend their child and defend their communities. And in the case of sheriffs, if you get a call from the local school and you find out there's a gun standoff, you might have some insight that no other sheriff in the country has on why this is going down. So that's part of it. So, the film is pretty diverse. The first part of it is really an overview to the entire mad situation that we've gotten ourselves into. The second part in particular focuses really clearly on ADHD, the shoddy science behind it, some really sort of comical.
They take boys, I mean, all species of mammal, from seals to dogs to cats, jump around and fight and play, and they say normal behavior is abnormal. Then they put kids on caffeine and sugar. They're bouncing off the walls. They claim crashing from sugar is bipolar. Your film is just amazing. Generation RX. I want to have you up in a month or so for 2 hours to take horror story calls from the listeners and people, and to tell more of your stories, and maybe have some of the families on that are in Generation RX. Available, folks, at Infowars.com. Get it today on the online video bookstore. Kevin Miller, thank you for the great work you've done, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.
It's been my pleasure, Alex. Thank you so much.
You bet. Keep up the great work, and we'll again have him back up the next month or so for 2 hours and talk about some of the other films he's working on as well.